Imagine buying a brand new phone in 2026, only to find out it's running the exact same brain as a phone from 2024. That's what Google is reportedly doing with the upcoming Pixel 10a, and it raises the big question. Why would anyone choose this over the cheaper Pixel 9a that's already out there? Here's why this matters. For years, Google's A-series phones have been the sweet spot in the Pixel lineup. They gave you most of the flagship experience at a fraction of the price. Same chipset, solid cameras, long-term software support. It was the kind of deal that made people think twice about paying extra for a Pro model. But now, it looks like Google is deliberately pulling back, making the Pixel 10a less exciting so buyers are nudged toward the pricier phones. The biggest controversy is the chipset. Instead of giving the Pixel 10a the brand new Tensor G5, Google plans to stick with the older Tensor G4. That's the same processor that powered the Pixel 9 series, including the budget-friendly 9a, which means the 10a is essentially launching with 2-year-old hardware. At first glance, that feels like a huge misstep. Nobody wants to spend money on something that already feels outdated. But here's where it gets tricky. The Tensor G5, Google's first fully in-house chip, isn't the monster leap you might expect. Sure, it's more efficient and leans heavily into AI, but in raw performance, it still trails behind Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon chips. So even though the G4 is older, the difference in day-to-day use may not be that dramatic. The 10a will still handle most tasks, run AI features, and benefit from Google's generous 7 years of software updates. The real problem is differentiation. If the Pixel 10a has the same processor as the 9a, nearly identical design, and no meaningful camera upgrades, what's the incentive to upgrade? The Pixel 9a already offers incredible value, with a big 5100 mAh battery, the same display as the flagship Pixel 9, and performance that's nearly identical at a much lower price. By the time the 10a launches, the 9a will be even cheaper, making it an even stronger bargain. This shift reveals Google's new strategy. Instead of giving the A-series too much power, the company is widening the gap between budget, standard, and Pro models. We've already seen it with the Pixel 10. It gained a telephoto lens for the first time, but at the cost of slightly weaker main and ultra-wide cameras compared to the Pixel 9. The message is clear. If you want the best cameras and newest chip, you'll need to pay Pro prices. It's the same playbook Apple has used for years, and now Google's following suit. So where does that leave the Pixel 10a? On paper, it's still a capable device. It'll be smooth for everyday use, backed by years of updates, and likely priced lower than the Pixel 10. But compared to the Pixel 9a, it risks looking like a recycled phone with no real spark. Unless Google manages to add exclusive AI tricks that truly set it apart, the 10a could end up being the least compelling A-series phone yet. And here's the irony. By holding back the 10a, Google might accidentally boost sales of the 9a instead. People who want a solid budget Pixel might just grab last year's model at a discount, knowing it'll still be supported well into the 2030s. For budget-conscious buyers, that's a win. But for Google, it could mean weaker sales for its latest release and a potential loss of momentum in the mid-range market. In the bigger picture, this moment feels like a turning point. The A-series used to symbolize value without compromise, but the Pixel 10a signals the end of that era. Google is no longer trying to give you flagship-level performance at a bargain. It's steering customers toward higher-priced options, even if that means making the budget line less attractive. So is the Pixel 10a dead on arrival? Not necessarily. For someone who wants a straightforward, reliable phone with long-term updates, it could still be worth it. But for those paying attention, the smarter play might be to grab a discounted Pixel 9a instead. The Pixel 10a isn't just another phone. It's a sign of where Google is heading. And for fans of the A-series, that might be the real disappointment. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.